It is once again time for a Steve Buchanan list. Put up your Bukes. That's right. Steve is out again this week, so we've got a rematch of Garion and Nick. And I have a feeling Nick is in a fighting mood after losing the two matchups they differed on last week. So they both went with Luis Castillo on a short slate. He pitched well, but Garion took the win thanks to a nice day from Trey Turner and Avisail Garcia. So you know the rules. Nick, either agree with Garion's picks for tonight's MLB slate or pivot to another option. So, Garion, which pitcher are you taking tonight?
Well, I almost feel bad about getting to choose first today for pitcher because the way this slate sets up, you've got four pitchers priced above $9,000, and every single one of them not named Max Scherzer has serious pitch count concerns. We've got two guys coming off the IL to make their first start in like 6 weeks. And then you've got Chris Sale, who was pulled from his last start after 71 pitches. I know it got out of hand. The Red Sox were up by a zillion runs, but still, like, it seems like the Red Sox might exercise a lot of caution with Chris Sale down the stretch, as they probably should. So you're left with Max Scherzer, who also just happens to be one of the best pitchers of the last decade. Scherzer, since being traded to Los Angeles, has made 4 starts. In those 4 starts, 2.11 ERA, 2.18 FIP, and nearly a 35% strikeout rate, so checks every single box. And San Diego also has the lowest WRC plus in baseball across the last 2 weeks. I think because the Dodgers game went 16 innings last night, Dave Roberts is really going to have to rely on Scherzer to go deep into this game. So I think he makes a big impact at $10,400.
All right, Nick, you going with Scherzer or are you going to pivot?
I'm going to pivot here, and as much as I think Scherzer makes sense, especially what happened last night and how the Padres have done of late, I still like Chris Sale tonight. I understand the pitch count concern, absolutely, Garion, spot on with that. But when you look at what he did against the Rangers last time, that's not a team that's been striking out a ton against left-handed pitching of late, and he still got 5 in 5 innings. I know it's a short amount, but still he put up some good numbers in that game, and he's going up against a Twins team that they do have a solid season ISO against left-handed pitching, but that also, they had Nelson Cruz for part of the season, and even with him, and he's not there anymore, and even with him, they didn't put up a great OPS or WOBA against left-handed pitching. So this is a better matchup from that standpoint. And then to go back to the strikeout portion of it, the Twins haven't struck out a ton against left-handed pitching of the season. They're kind of like just above middle of the pack, so I guess a little bit, decent amount, but they're striking out a lot over the last couple weeks against lefties. And you got a guy like Sale, who obviously racks up strikeouts. I know his over-under on DK Sportsbook for a strikeout prop tonight is 6.5. I like the over on that one. But then the other thing with the Twins too is last bit for the month of August, they're not chasing pitches out of the zone a ton, but when they are chasing those pitches, they're missing them quite a bit. And for a guy like Sale who generates quite a bit of swing and misses, I like his chances to rack up strikeouts tonight against the Twins.
All right, we have a pivot. How about infielder, Garion? Where are you going? Oh no, we cannot hear you.
Apologies.
There we go. Okay.
Getting used to being this Buchanan thing. It's a lot of pressure.
I get it.
I also feel kind of bad about this one because I know Nick loves using Sal Perez, but he's in such a great spot tonight against Yusei Kikuchi. Perez this season, 140 plate appearances against left-handed pitching. He's hitting .328 with a .359 ISO and a .179 WRC plus. He's hit 4 home runs in the past 10 days. His bat is really hot right now, and Kikuchi is the exact opposite direction. This is someone who was pitching amazing in May and June, but then he got to July, and I don't know what changed, but he has not been able to find himself since July 1st. In that span of time, opponents with a 400 WOBA off of Kikuchi. So great matchup, great handedness matchup, and Perez is just hot to begin with. So I really like him at 5,500.
All right, Perez, Nick, how do we feel?
Well, yeah, Garion's right. I love Salvador Perez, and I'm not going to go and speak against Garion's opinion on this one because, I mean, anytime that you see Salvador Perez going up against a left-hander, I like that matchup. He's posting career highs in OPS, ISO, and WOBA against lefties this season. And look, if he goes and faces a righty in this game, like he still has power against righties as well, but obviously makes his money against left-handers. He hasn't seen Kikuchi at all in his career. I was a little surprised by that. But as Garion mentioned, Kikuchi has struggled over his last 10 starts. Only 3 quality starts in that span, and his last 2 starts got roughed up, didn't even make it through the first 5. So, yeah, I can't speak against Salvador Perez tonight. He's got to be one of the locks of the night.
Okay, so we have an agreement on that one. How about an outfielder, Garion? Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go with Kyle Schwarber, who's $4,800. The Red Sox implied team total for this game is gargantuan. They are expected to score over 6 runs, which really, when you talk about implied team totals, that's usually reserved for like Coors Field and nothing else. And that speaks heavily to not just how good this Red Sox lineup can be, but also John Gant and also the Twins bullpen, which has proven to be not so great so far this season. I mean, Gant in particular, a 5.43 expected ERA. He was someone who was banished to the bullpen when he was traded to the Twins, but just out of necessity, they need him to start this game. Whereas Kyle Schwarber has been, I mean, it's even hard to like undersell how incredible he has been so far with the Red Sox. It's a small sample, but 37 plate appearances. He has a 201 WRC plus. Hit his first home run as a Red Sox on Wednesday. Is going to be hitting in the top 4 spots of this lineup. There's just so much to like here, and the fact you get Schwarber for less than $5,000 is really enticing.
Okay, Schwarber, Nick, how do we feel about it? Going with him, or do you want to pivot?
Schwarber is a great pick, and I'm going to go with another deadline deal from the AL East, but it's not going to be with the Red Sox. I'm actually going to go with Joey Gallo tonight. I know he's been a little bit slow of late, but he's 4.2K, and I understand he's in Oakland too. That's going to be an issue as well, as you would think. But he's actually hit pretty well there throughout the course of his career, pretty good power numbers there specifically, and he's going up against a guy in Caprillion who he's only faced him 9 times, and of course that is such a tiny sample size, and we can't go into that, blah, 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 but he has 3 home runs in those opportunities. You guys know I love taking flyers on guys who put up decent power in a short amount of time against a pitcher. And 3 home runs and 9 chances. I love that. And he hits for power at Oakland tonight. Another way to attack Caprillion tonight, too, is taking the over on his home runs allowed prop tonight. I know that he hasn't given up a ton of home runs at Oakland this season, but going up against this Yankees lineup and going up against Gallo specifically, who hits well there, who's hit well against Caprillion in limited opportunities, I like that option as well. But I'm going with Gallo as my top outfielder pick tonight.
All right, finally, our last one here, the value play that you're riding with. Garion, what is it?
So I'm going to stick with outfielders, but let's go way down the board to Alex Dickerson at $2,600. This Giants lineup has been kind of fun to track all season long. You never really know who's hitting where, which is one of the great parts of the Giants. They're kind of secretly stacked at so many positions. But Dickerson's been hitting cleanup the last 2 times the Giants have seen a right-handed pitcher, and they will see a right-handed pitcher tonight in Carlos Carrasco. And look, I love Carlos Carrasco. He's one of my favorite pitchers in baseball, but he has not looked right since coming off of the IL. He's made 5 starts, and opponents are slugging .625 off of him in those 5 starts. Carrasco has also always generally had problems with left-handed hitters if he's had problems with anybody. Even in his great Cy Young caliber seasons, it was lefties that did most of the damage. So I like Dickerson in that regard. And the fact that in August he's hitting .340 with a .417 WOBA, well, that's really nice too. So I think this is a great price point for Dickerson. If you can find a cleanup hitter for less than $3,000, you pretty much have to use it.
All right, Nick, what do we think? Alex Dickerson.
You know, Garion talks about how he doesn't like picking first. I don't like disagreeing with Garion. It's a lot different than with Steve. I agree with Garion on a lot of his picks, and Dickerson is one I do think is a great pick, but I want to give you guys another value option. And Garion was talking before about how you want to try and target the Twins tonight. Of course, John Gant. So I'm going to go with Travis Shaw at 3.7K. You got to make sure you check the lineups tonight because obviously Bobby Dalbec could end up playing against a right-hander. He's not supposed to. It's supposed to be more Shaw, but double check on that. Shaw has done well in his 3 games since his first 2 since returning to the Red Sox, and Gant too significantly worse against left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters over his career, but even more so this season too. And then we talk about the Twins bullpen too, not ideal. So Travis Shaw is going to be my value bet tonight.